I actually think the team under indexes on the appreciation for the amazing dad jokes I bring every day to the set here. Who's the king of the supply closet at a school? The ruler. Welcome to today's 7 Super Tips. I'm your host, Erik Qualman. A lot of you know me as Equalman. I'm super excited for today's episode because I just got done reading his book, Essentialism. Highly recommend it to read it. What else would he do with the book? And his name is Greg Mckeown. And here he is with his 7 Super Tips.
The word priority came into the English language in the 1400s. What did the word priority mean in the 1400s? Don't let it stump you. It means the same now. What does the word priority mean? The most important thing. How many are there? One. Because it's the very priorist thing. It's the most prior thing, the first thing, right? We're all together on this? According to Peter Drucker, the word priority stayed singular for 500 years. 500 years. I mean, that's like half a millennium that people weren't using the term priorities. And why weren't they? Because it's just one. So I struggle even now to know what the word priorities actually means. I mean, can you have very, very many, very first, before all other things? Can you? It's a form of madness, I think. We are going through right now a new bubble. So we've had, of course, Silicon Valley bubbles before, and we've had real estate bubbles, and years before that, centuries before, we had the tulip bubble and all of this, right? We know about bubbles. But I think right now we have a bubble of more, where we are irrationally overvaluing the idea of having it all, doing it all, fitting it all in if we possibly can. That this, in fact, is the very way to success. But what I found is the opposite. That logic leads to the undisciplined pursuit of more, to use Jim Collins' phrase. And the antidote to it is the disciplined pursuit of less but better. So you can take that design ethic. The design ethic, by the way, came from Dieter Rams, the head designer at Braun for 35 years. And he summarized all of his life's learnings into 10 principles, summarized those even further to 1, and then summarized that into 3 words, less but better. And he applied it to the design of products, and superbly successful in doing so. But I want to make the case that we can take that same design ethic and use it to great advantage in our careers, in our leadership, and also in our lives writ large. It was the US Secretary of State, General George C. Marshall, who said of Gandhi, "Here is a man who has shown," now you fill in the blank, "that X is more powerful than empires." Now, what do you think is more powerful than empires? The quote was simplicity. That simplicity is more powerful than empires. And Einstein said that generations to come will scarce believe that such a one as this ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth. When I was in South Africa recently, I went to the home where he was born and was given what I was told was the only poem Gandhi ever wrote. And in the poem found 4 words. They shook me, these words. Reducing oneself to zero. Reducing oneself to zero. That is what an essentialist can do. To remove all the trivial many, to focus ultimately on the singular purpose that really matters. And I believe that if you find that, that will matter too. I think that whatever the size of the organization, you still benefit from getting absolutely crystal clear on the one big thing you're trying to accomplish. So you have a single essential intent that gives you direction about what you're trying to do and what you're not trying to do. And many of the sort of small to medium-sized companies I've worked with have been able to eliminate a lot of nonsense and a lot of clutter and a lot of good things that are keeping them back just by getting resolutely clear on the one big thing they're really trying to pursue. This is where I'd begin. Kay Krill is the CEO of Loft and the Ann Taylor brand. And she said that years ago she was really bad at saying no. And somebody came to her mentor and said, look, you've got to learn to get rid of all of these people and commitments that don't mean anything to you, because they'll rob you of the things that really do. And she said that because she got that feedback, she did learn over the years how to say no, how to push back gracefully, sensibly, but unapologetically. And now she says she's very good at it. And it saved her so many, wasted hours, wasted days, wasted commitments, because she actually learned to develop a repertoire for saying no. Do I have any recommendations for discernment? I think we can start really easy on this because it's such low-hanging fruit. Just start the day off. Don't reach for your phone. I mean, almost reach for anything else, actually. But reach for a journal. I've kept a journal now for the last easily 10 years and hardly missed a day. And I tell you, just start small. This is the way to do it. Just write less than you want to. But just have a moment, a space to be able to at least reflect on yesterday and what you want to do today. This is a very simple practice. Start with a minute a day. And eventually it will become its own sort of, I don't want to use the word addiction, but its own success cycle where you find yourself wanting to write more and reflect more because it's, instead of having the world act on you as our phones do, we can act upon our lives and upon the future. It's one very small thing to do. But I think getting a morning routine, a first thing routine, is a really powerful way to start.
What I found is that the answer to the question about why otherwise successful people and companies don't continue to be successful is success. Success. It turns out that success is a poor teacher. Think of that. Now, maybe that seems like a bold statement to make. Why should you listen to me on that? It's not me who said it. You know who said that? Success is a poor teacher. Bill Gates. Of all the people who might know, success is a poor teacher if it leads to the pattern we're just describing. And so I learned this counterintuitive insight, which is that success can become a catalyst for failure, because it undermines the very things that led to success in the first place. So in this conversation today, what I'm suggesting is that we need to figure out how to become successful at success.
That's it for today's 7 super tips from Greg Mckeown. I hope you get back to your essentials today. And remember, this show is essentially all about unlocking and unleashing your inner superpower. So until next time, remember, it's not what we take from the world, it is what we leave behind.